This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. I share my personal experiences with microdosing as part of my own mental health and spiritual journey. I'm not giving medical advice, and I'm definitely not encouraging anyone to break the law. Everything I talk about is based on my own personal story, what's worked for me, what I've learned, and always do your own research. And if you're considering anything discussed here, make sure you consult with a licensed healthcare provider or legal professional. I'm just here to share my path openly and honestly. Welcome back to Microdose U. I am Dr. Dave. So I walked into my annual physical a very short time ago, and well, let's just say I was feeling great. Earlier in the morning, I decided to microdose some magic mushrooms. Yes, psilocybin. But of course, as you know, not to get high, not to trip, not to melt away onto the floor, and nothing like that. That would be pretty irresponsible and also unsafe. I took a small intentional dose, the same kind I've taken many times before, the kind that just it simply grounds me. It centers me. It brings me clarity. So since I've been sharing my experience with LSD recently, you might be wondering, why did I choose mushrooms that day? And there's really no answer other than that's what I decided to do that morning. So everything was fine. I'm feeling good, calm, focused, more present than ever. I get into the office there, my medical office. I walk up to the front desk. They hand me the clipboard. I sat in a comfortable seat in the waiting room, and of course, I began filling it out. Now, this was by the way, this is an appointment for my annual physical. I've been to this office many times. They know who I am. So I'm filling everything out, and I get to this question, and it's the question that always stops you and makes you think for a second. And the question was, do you currently or have you ever used illicit or recreational substances? And I just kind of stared at it. In the past, I may have, I hate to say lied, but maybe I just would have told the whole truth, or maybe I would have just even skipped that one because it's no one's business. But after a minute or so of staring at this question, I just went for it. I checked yes. No shame, just the truth. Now, fast forward. The first stop after the intake form is I'm getting blood drawn and urine taken. Well, you know, however they do it, blood and urine. And first of all, let me tell you, I am really relaxed. Like the mushrooms have stripped every iota of anxiety from my body. When I remember, this used to make me at least a little anxious. I mean, you know, a needle sticking into your vein, there's got to be a little anxiety. But now I could probably get blood drawn all day long and nothing would bother me. Then the medical assistant brings me back. She takes my blood pressure, hooks up, you know, all the EKG stuff, does all the regular tests that a doctor doesn't do. And then this part actually made me laugh to myself. She begins to give me the cognitive test. And I've had this before, but I always get worried when I take this type of test because I used to freeze up and my brain sometimes would just not work as quickly as it normally does. But guess what? That particular morning, I aced it. I mean 100%. Seriously, 100%. Do you know the one, I don't know if you ever had this type of test, but you know the one part where they give you a letter and then they say, so in other words, they say like, here, the letter F, then now you have 60 seconds to come up with as many words as possible that begin with the letter F. And this is always the scariest part for me because again, I totally freeze up. But this time, this particular morning, I think I broke my record. I came with more words than I ever have. I'm thinking, wow, if they only knew what's actually helping me think this clearly. Because it sure as hell wasn't caffeine or some pharmaceutical or the yoga I did. it's the mushrooms, carefully dosed and spiritually aligned. Then the doctor walks in. She's scanning my intake form, and she gets to the section. I can tell she gets to the section where I filled out about the drug use. Well, I hate to say drug use, plant medicine use. And oh my gosh, she looks up at me, and there's this pause, and she goes something like, "So I see you marked that you're using psilocybin." And I said, "Yes, I'm microdosing. I do it regularly, very small amounts. And it's been a huge help with my emotional health and my mental clarity." And without missing a beat, she says, "I don't think that's something you should be doing, David." And of course, my response was, well, why do you think that? And her response was something like, "Well, because these are psychedelics." And I just said, "Yes, that's true. And the problem is?" And then I just went on to tell her that I'm taking microdoses, tiny doses, a few times a week. Totally safe. I'm not doing this recreationally. There's a real purpose. I looked her in the eye and I said, "Doctor, this has truly changed my life, mentally and physically." And she really didn't know what to say after that. You could tell she had a narrative that psychedelics are dangerous, but I'm sitting there passing every medical test. My blood pressure is great. My cognitive exam aced it 100%, feeling grounded as ever. And perhaps she just didn't have a great follow-up to that. By the way, I've got to tell you, I love my doctor. I've been seeing her for like somewhere in 5 to 6 years. She's the best. I love her. But maybe, honestly, she's just not up on microdosing psychedelics. I've told you many times, I've never been more balanced in my life. I've never felt more in tune with who I am. And yet, that's the moment the system starts to doubt me, that's the part I want to share with you today. Because it's weird. It's safe. It's changed my life. But still, there's this narrative like these are psychedelics. And also, this isn't about me telling you to microdose before your next doctor's visit. No, I'm not recommending that. I do crazy things. That's me. It's on me. But it's about standing in your truth. It's about recognizing that we are rewriting the story around psychedelics. And sometimes that means having uncomfortable conversations in fluorescent lit rooms, professional rooms with someone with a clipboard in their hand. So I don't know. Yeah, I walked into my physical exam with magic mushrooms in my system, and I walked out with a really clean bill of health. And if that's not a metaphor for this like new era of healing, then I don't know what is. So you might be thinking, well, what am I going to do next? But what am I going to do before my next physical? LSD? I don't know. That's to be determined. I have a little bit of time to think about it. Now, let's answer a question or two from the mailbag. Matilda K4921 says, "Do you think you can take a super low microdose, like a vitamin, and have long-term benefits even if you don't feel anything?" Matilda, I'm guessing that you're referring to like even lower doses than a microdose, like just take it every day like a little vitamin and not feel anything at all and have it help you. Well, first of all, that's kind of what microdosing is because it's almost subperceptual, but I think you're going even lower, like take so little that you can't detect anything. Will this help you over a long period of time? It's actually a pretty cool question. I don't know the answer. I don't know whether there's probably a minimum amount, I'm guessing, a minimum amount that you need to rewire the brain or begin to rewire the brain. Um, and if you're below that minimum, and I don't know what that minimum is, and it's probably different for everybody. So if you're below that minimum, you might be taking like a tiny, tiny morsel, and it might not be doing any. It might not be doing anything at all. I don't know the answer, but it's a great question. The only thing I would say is if you really want to take something that's lower than a microdose, experiment and see. I don't know. I'd give it some time, and if you don't feel any different whatsoever, I'd probably just continue with microdosing. Because microdosing we know works. We've proven it. I'm not the only one that's proven it. It's changed my life, but many other people that followed the show or that I've worked with one-on-one, that Dr. Denise and I have worked with one-on-one. By the way, if you want to know how to do that, all the information is on my website, microdoseu.com. Microdose with the letter U. You can see how to work with us, because we help people that just have questions and don't know or don't feel comfortable doing this on their own. So that's what we're here for. Next question from SoTweet6123 says, microdosing gave me bad headaches and I did not notice a difference with my anxiety. Did I do anything wrong? SoTweet, thank you so much for your question. Again, I'm going to say it's very limited information. I don't know. First of all, I don't know your source. I don't know if you had good medicine, bad medicine. I don't know how much you were microdosing, whether it was 25 or 50 milligrams or 300 milligrams. Or somewhere in between. I don't know that. I don't know if you were journaling, doing things with intention, proper set and setting, following through. I just don't know. I will tell you one thing though, if you're getting headaches, there's a very good chance that you're dehydrated. You need to be drinking water, whether you're microdosing or not. You need to be drinking enough water every day. And usually somebody that says they're getting headaches from microdosing. Again, it's not a real common thing, but if you're getting headaches, it generally means, but not always, it generally means you are just you're dehydrated and you need to be drinking more water. And there's a very good chance if you do that, the headaches will go away. But again, I can't really tell you much more than that because I don't know. But again, if you want to maybe get together and do some one-on-one, we're here for you. We're always here for you at Microdose U. There's actually a page on the website about personal guidance coaching, so check it out. We can try to help you if you don't want to do this on your own. Thanks for joining me today. If you got something out of this episode, share it with someone you love. I got a brand new episode that comes out every Wednesday. If you like what you're hearing, please like, share, and subscribe. And check the show notes for some great resources. The show notes if you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you are, great resources, especially our free 5-part course on microdosing for beginners. And also we're doing live meetings on Patreon now, which are unbelievable. We discuss the things that we can't discuss anywhere else. Read between the lines if you must, but we're discussing the deep things there. So Patreon, again, all of this is in the show notes and on the website. It's very easy to get to. Follow the link and become a member and join us there. I recently spoke about how psychedelics have gotten me not to give an F anymore about certain things. It's an episode that you don't want to miss. And if you want to check it out on YouTube, I'm pointing to it right here. And if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, and more, I'll put it in the show notes. And as always, stay curious, stay open, and keep walking this healing path one microdose at a time. I'm Dr. Dave. This is Microdose U. I do love you.